What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it's time to talk about Gurren Lagann episodes 20 and 21, starting off with episode 20. I'm really not sure why I always say it like that. Like, I'm going to do episodes 20 and 21, starting with episode 20. Like, no shit. What, am I going to start with episode 21 and do it backwards? Whatever. This episode of Gurren Lagann, probably the best episode of Gurren Lagann after the time skip so far. Not that I hate the other episodes, but I think you could probably tell I'm not enjoying this second half as much as the first half. I don't hate it, but I do think there's some forced writing. I do think a lot of the characters have gone downhill. Some are getting better, like Keaton. I am calling him Keaton now, not Diet Kamina. He was very enjoyable in this episode. And I was thinking, I was like Gurren Lagann. You know, when he played that sacrifice play and said, "Go on without me," and he grabbed the gun, I was like, Gurren Lagann, bruh, heart to heart real quick. You're running out of good characters. Don't kill Keaton right now. Choose your next move very wisely. And they didn't kill him, which is good. But yeah, joking aside, I'm glad he didn't die, though I don't think he's out of the woods yet in that regard. But yeah, he was really cool in this episode. And it was really cool seeing the gunman come back. And it was cool seeing Yoko come back, even though I honestly kind of forgot about her. I've never really been a huge fan of Yoko, but she's always been, cool enough, I guess. But yeah, it was cool seeing her come in. And Nia's there, and I think she saved Simone from Nia, so I think Nia was going to try to kill him, if I remember correctly. I don't know, it's been like a day since I watched the episode, but it was a cool little cliffhanger. And there was some good animation, some good action. Rossio he's still a douche, but like, he's more justified in this episode because things are very dire. He wants to save as many people as possible. He found out that the impact of the moon is going to do a lot more damage than he thought, and a lot of people are going to die, and all of that's on his shoulders. He's really freaking out, and it's kind of satisfying to see him unravel and freak out because he's been such a dick, but at the same time, I kind of feel for him, just because in this episode in particular, he was a bit more justified and not quite as much of an asshole as he has been lately. Of course, the sister is still a lost cause. I'll probably never like that character. The bitch with the glasses, no. And seeing Keaton, suck up to her in the beginning of the episode, didn't like that. He had every right to be mad at Rossio for sending off not only a close friend, which is Simone, a close friend of 7 years or even longer, who saved their asses so many times with Gurren Lagann, and you just watch this guy you have the hots for, send him to prison to be executed mercilessly, and you're just like, oh, Rossio, he's misunderstood. Like, fuck you, you're a bitch. Again, unless he wasn't going to have him executed and there's some other play here, because, Rossio is misunderstood, quote unquote. So, I'll wait to see how that goes, but still, don't like her. She's a bitch, has no right to be mad at her brother for what he tried to do. He has no reason to suck up to her. In fact, he should be mad at her for slapping him. From regardless of what Rossio was thinking when he said Simone is going to get executed, Keaton's perspective was, he just sent our friend to his death. Fuck this guy. And Keaton is completely justified in that regard. That's all I'm trying to say. I digress. Moving on to this episode once again. Not talking about the end of the last episode. Because I really don't have too much else to say about this episode that's really, negative, honestly. Again, there's really cool stuff, like seeing the gunmen come in, lots of cool action. Kind of redundant that they send in a bunch of ships when the moon's going to crash anyways, but those things are probably automated once they saw that there was spiral energy coming from the Arc Gurren, or I think it was the Arc Gurren that had the spiral energy. Maybe it was just an automatic thing, like, oh, spiral energy, go kill it. Doesn't matter if the moon's going to crash, just automated system. So not a big deal there, just a little redundant. Yeah, I thought Veril and Simone's parts probably could have been more interesting. Yeah, he mentioned Kamina and saying Kamina was a good, hand-to-hand fighter and everything, and Simone got a little bit pissed. That was I wanted more of that. I wanted more of the pushing Simone's buttons and really, developing his character, because Simone has been a well-developed character so far, but I do want to see more of it in this second half, which it hasn't really come just yet, but I think the stuff with Nia will, push his character forward. Nia, I don't know, she's still showing up, fucking with Simone. I still find it entertaining for some reason. I have no idea why. I think she's not better than Nia from the first half, but I guess more interesting. Because at the end of the episode, Yoko's like, oh, you're a real boring bitch right now. And I'm like, really? But is she as boring as she used to be? If you like that kind of character, that's fine. But I found Nia to be pretty bland, honestly. And now she's bland, but in a more entertaining way. I have no idea what I'm trying to say with her character. I don't know. I'm mostly joking, anyways. It's not really meant to be taken seriously. I don't really have much else to say about the episode. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. There is a problem with Gurren Lagann that's been bothering me, but I'll wait for episode 21, I guess, to address it, because I don't want this first half to be super long, but it has to do with the characterization and how certain characters were introduced and stuff like that. But I'll get to that later when I have more time to talk about it, because I probably spent enough time on this episode. So let's move on to episode 21, and I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10, a good to great episode of Gurren Lagann. Episode 21, but first let me address the Nia thing that I mentioned in the last review, because obviously different lighting, it's a different time of day, it's morning now, I recorded the last one at night, had some time to think about my episode 20 review, also I'm tired, so if I ever get anything in the episode 21 review, I do apologize, or I'm just a little like all over the place, scatterbrained or whatever. But anyways, episode 20, the Nia stuff, I was talking about how I kind of joked that I was like, yeah, she was kind of bland before, and now she's more interesting. I do think that's genuinely how I feel, though, the more I think about it. Like, I wasn't really sure how to explain it at the time, so I just kind of played it off as a joke, but I think it's because she is genuinely more interesting. Like, if you're talking, like, in the story context, you know, obviously the joke, you know, yeah, Yoko's right, she is boring now compared to what she was before, personality-wise, but in terms of, like, as an actual character, she's definitely more interesting. Like, who are the anti-spiral? Are there more, like, sleeper agent anti-spirals? How are they going to get her back? Will they get her back? The exposition that she's dropping, the story stuff, the sexy stare that she has now. I'm joking, but she still has her cool design, of course. She still has the cool eyes and the cool hair, so yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still think it's forced that they crammed her into the plot like this, but still, for what it is, I think it is working fairly okay, and definitely want to see where it goes, and I do think she is more interesting, or at least has more interesting things surrounding her. So anyways, moving on to episode 21, the Yoko episode, catching us up to speed on what's been going on with her, since admittedly I kind of forgot about her for a second. She was being a teacher, and that's kind of neat, I guess. It seemed pretty fucking random, but I think she's mentioned this before. Maybe once or twice in passing, or maybe just once in passing, she said she wanted to be a teacher at some point. I don't know. But yeah, she's a teacher. She's got students. My only real nitpick of this episode, honestly, is that, like, I feel like she could have interacted with the students more. Like, there is that moment on the tree with the Simone parallel kid, and that's a nice moment, but it's mostly, like, the kids' drama. Not mostly, but more kid drama than I would have liked, only because I don't give a fuck. But she gives a fuck, and it is good motivation for her. She doesn't want to see her students, you know, with their little cute little hats, get flattened by the moon into pancakes with cute little hats. So that's nice. You know, it's nice to give her motivation and humanize her. And it is a badass when she goes from teacher mode to fucking badass mode, and all the animators get to blow their load, literally and figuratively, as they get to draw her boob jiggles again, and that was funny. Just seeing that after so long, it feels like they were even extra careful to make sure every shot of her had it. Like they've just been, like, bottling it up. But yeah, that aside, though, she was a total fucking badass at the end of this episode when she took out those two gunmen and, like, blasted through the thing's arm as she was going up, and then it was awesome. She took out two gunmen without a gunman. That was super cool. I don't think she's ever... Maybe she's done that before, you know, like pre-time skip, but it makes sense for her to be more skilled after, like, 7 years than she used to be, even after teaching for a while. But yeah, I didn't care about the kids that much, but I liked seeing her interact with them. The chalk thing was funny. So yeah, it was cool. And the very end of the episode, you have Gurren Lagann back in shape, fully locked and loaded, and then he's going to team up with Veril to pilot it. I don't know if it's going to be stronger than it was before, because we'll have two pilots now. We'll have to wait and see, but cool that he's teaming up with Veril. I like the direction they've gone with Veril's character. He's a lot cooler now than he used to be. Because Veril, I was always kind of like, what's the relevance of this character? He pops up once in a while. He exists. Okay, cool, but it's kind of neat to see him actually taking a part in this final battle, and yeah, he was pretty cool. His long hair design is kind of badass. I don't know. But anyways, last thing to talk about is the space stuff. We have the Arc Gurren up in space, and they do a really good job of portraying how overwhelming the anti-spiral force is. Like, just this entire just wave, just so many, like more than we've ever seen. Ships that we've never seen before, like the two giant ones. Really crazy, great sense of scale, overwhelming. You really feel it, you know, you really feel the intimidation there, so that was really good. Then, of course, Simone and Varel show up, and all of them show up in their gunmen, which we also got some other gunman stuff on the ground that was cool, but nothing as badass as Yoko taking out 2 gunmen without a gunman. That was super badass, but yeah. And then, of course, Simone and Varel are both like, who the hell do you think I am? So now we have 2 Kaminas. We got Kamina 2.0 and 2.1. I don't know. I make fun of it, even though I don't really care. But it does seem, it does, I don't want to say bother me, because it doesn't. I like making fun of the fact that Simone has said multiple times that he does not want to be like Kamina. He can't be a Kamina, so he's going to be the best Simone he can be. He's like, I'm going to be the best me I can, bro. And being the best me apparently means being Kamina 2.0. So, okay, fine. Of course, 2.0 implies better than Kamina, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just really funny to me. Again, it doesn't really bother me. I just find it funny that Simone, you know, says, I'm going to be my own me, and then literally acts exactly like Kamina. Because I feel like Kamina has said, like, who the hell do you think I am? Or it's like something Kamina would say. But either way, cool to see Gurren Lagann with 2 pilots again. Interesting twist that it's Varel. Like the little rivalry they got going on there. But I think it's genuine. I don't think there's going to be any bullshit. I think Varel genuinely wants to save the planet, because why wouldn't he? He fucking lives there. There's beast men there. That's pretty much the cliffhanger into the next episode. So that's pretty much it. Talked about Nia, talked about Yoko, talked about Teacher Yoko. Cool seeing her become a badass. Talked about the space stuff. Art and animation was good in this episode. Didn't need to be anything crazy good in particular, but, you know, it was serviceable. When it needed to be badass for Yoko's final scene, it was really badass. So, yeah, what more can you ask? You know, a lot of talking and teaching stuff. Not a big deal. It was good. Usual Gurren Lagann animation. A little bit better than usual Gurren Lagann animation, I suppose. That is one thing I will say about the time skip stuff, is I guess there is a little bit more of an animation consistency. Though then again, I guess it's kind of less creative, but, you know, that's the trade-off. But it is more consistent. I'll give this episode a solid 8.5, 8.8 out of 10. Definitely a very good to great episode of Gurren Lagann. These last 2 have been much more entertaining and much more fun and enjoyable, and just overall better character-wise than a lot of the episodes we've been getting. I hope Gurren Lagann is through its slow point, because those episodes were really not as enjoyable, even though I was still giving them good scores, because they weren't bad episodes objectively. They weren't nearly as entertaining. Definitely a lot more stuff that I didn't like. So, really glad that Gurren Lagann's coming back in top form. And it seems like we're getting a lot of action, so hopefully that's cool. Action's usually something that Gurren Lagann doesn't fuck up. What did you guys think of these episodes of Gurren Lagann? You can go ahead and tell me in the comments section below. Give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. Click that little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.